Major funding for Florida Matters comes from the Mosaic Company, a leading producer of fertilizer made from phosphate, a natural resource found in Florida. America's farmers depend on Florida phosphate for their crop nutrition needs. Mosaic, helping America grow.
No matter who he talks to or what they're talking about, Larry Elliston has a knack for telling great stories. Join us today as Larry revisits some of his favorite Florida stories from this season of Florida Matters.
A playground, a postcard, a paintbrush, and a bicycle. I'm Larry Elliston. Stick around for some Florida stories. At the turn of the 20th century, barely 500,000 people lived in the state. Natural Florida owned the place. Now, of course, the state is home to more than 18 million people. And wouldn't you know it, sometimes it seems all 18 million of us want to go someplace at the same time. This is why Gabriel Tennaro has chosen to go his own way.
Early morning on the back step. After putting on his own socks and shoes, Gabriel Tennaro does the same for his 3-year-old son, Eli.
Okay. You want to climb back inside?
Yeah.
Love you, buddy. See you this afternoon. Bye.
There's just something about a St. Petersburg morning that seems to click with Gabriel. It must be how he gets to work. Gabriel commutes on 2 wheels, not 4.
A lot of people, when I tell them that I ride to work, think I'm a health nut or a fitness junkie, or that they don't really seem to get that. Mostly, I'm doing it because I really like it.
Once across busy 22nd Avenue North, you start to see what Gabriel likes about his 12-minute ride to All Children's Hospital. Is there a better place to start the day than a scenic cruise along Crescent Lake Park?
I certainly don't miss driving, being stuck in traffic and in the car out here. I get fresh air, get to see a little natural beauty before I get to work every morning. It also helps me to be more relaxed at work. It's like I get to work and I've already done something good. You're already having a good day. It kind of sets the tone. I definitely enjoy it.
Pedal power sends Gabriel down quiet tree-lined streets paved in red brick. It's a daily commute that allows this native of the Sunshine City to experience the St. Petersburg of old. This daily commute started about 3 years ago. It's eliminated the need for owning 2 family cars. 1 is plenty. Besides saving a few bucks, there's less pollution, too.
I try not to aggrandize it by feeling like I'm saving the world, but I really am proud of the little bit that I can do to help the planet, be a better place. Clean air is certainly something everybody needs.
Just past the historic Mirror Lake Public Library, Gabriel slips into downtown. He moves along 5th Street North, then takes a right on Central Avenue, then a left on 6th Street. But for all the freedom and benefits of a bicycle, there's always the danger.
When you ride a bike, there are folks who don't see you. I've certainly had a close call or 2. I did have a driver once inform me that I didn't have the right of way, no matter what, at a stop sign, because they were the automobile and I was the bicycle.
But still, Gabriel wouldn't trade places for the world. On a bike, he feels connected. He feels alive.
I feel like it's a privilege to be able to be out here every morning. So glad to be in Florida. Enjoy the sun, the weather, the landscape, our history.
On this commute, there's no problem finding nearby parking. Is a spot inside the building close enough? Try doing this with your car. After a quick change of clothes he carries in his backpack, Gabriel Tennaro is ready for the day. In a great frame of mind from a great bike ride, Gabriel's job keeping up with the website for All Children's Hospital is a pleasure. On the return trip home, Tennaro will take a longer route along St. Petersburg's scenic waterfront. He can't wait. In the Tennaro household, using a bicycle for transportation is not limited to just Gabriel. It's a family affair. It's almost 2:20 in the afternoon and time for Leslie Tennaro, Gabriel's wife, to step away from her handmade jewelry business and pick up the kids from school. Not with the minivan, mind you. Sometimes it will sit idle in the driveway for days. With 3-year-old Eli tucked away in the trailer, Leslie's Bicycle Express is right on schedule.
I use a bicycle during the day to transport my kids mostly and get the everyday errands taken care of that are close by, like going to the grocery store or even taking the car in for a repair and we'll bicycle back.
Parked in the shade at North Shore Elementary, Leslie is waiting for Eli's 6-year-old sister, Anna Tobin, and his 7-year-old brother, Edison.
All right, Edison, you're the leader.
Today, a classmate is joining Anna Tobin and Edison on the 10-minute ride home.
All right, gang, let's go.
Leslie and Gabriel believe educating their kids about using a bicycle as an acceptable form of transportation is a class by itself.
We do hope that they're going to take a lesson from it, that they're going to learn that you don't have to get in a car to go 2 blocks. That you don't have to make extra time for fitness. You can work it in. You know, it's a lifestyle of being fit, and you save money. It generally makes for happier kids and happier people.
I definitely enjoy it. Plus, I mean, how can you not love this?
So the next time you're fighting traffic, think about those happy Tennaros. No matter how Floridians get around, they want to be connected to where they live. Sense of place is something you may not even notice until it's not there anymore.
St. Petersburg, the Sunshine City. Still tranquil and historic, but undergoing a change. So when Will Michaels looks through his album of vintage St. Petersburg postcards, he's wistful about the city that was.
We see history, we see art, we see the spirit of our community.
A spirit Will Michaels believes is embodied in the city's buildings. Remarkable old buildings from another Florida, another St. Petersburg that continue to disappear.
This is the Colonial Hotel. It's a great 1920s hotel. It was right in the downtown area. It has recently been demolished, and the Ovation is being built on its site.
As seen across the skyline, new is replacing old. As former head of the St. Petersburg Museum of History and now president of St. Petersburg Preservation, Will Michaels knows a city embracing the future should also covet the past.
We need to keep the historic. We need to keep the personality of the city. We need to keep the charm of the city. That's what gives the city its zip. We're trying to hold on to that, and we're slowly losing it. We need to do everything that we can. We need to redouble our efforts to see that that's not lost as we have new development in our community.
The great success story of historic preservation in St. Petersburg is the magnificent Vinoy Park Hotel. Built during the 1920s, the Vinoy, with its signature Mediterranean revival architecture, is a timeless Florida classic.
The Yankees, Babe Ruth, celebrities, you name it, they've been at this hotel. But in the early 1980s, late 1970s, this hotel was a derelict. It was run down, it was unoccupied. As the result of a number of people who were interested in historic preservation, we were able to find a buyer, we were able to find a developer who came, took an interest in the building, restored it, and turned it into one of the great five-star hotels in the world today.
Without preservationists fighting to save the Vinoy, it might have fallen to the wrecking ball. Ironically, it is this hotel's restoration that paved the way for the large-scale redevelopment that has followed.
Central Avenue, the main street of this modern city, is lined with green benches, a tradition in St. Petersburg.
Once marketed as a relaxing haven where retirees could pass the time in the sunshine, St. Petersburg in more recent decades has gone after a new image and a new look. As entire city blocks give rise to the new St. Petersburg, what troubles preservationists like Will Michaels is the thought of losing even more vintage buildings. At the top of the list, the Detroit Hotel built in 1888. One vote shy of being protected as a local landmark, the historic Sereno Hotel on Beach Drive met its fate in 1992. All that's left of St. Petersburg's first $1 million hotel is a decorative plaque. You can find it on the side of the building that replaced it. Other than the Vinoy, of course, there's probably no building in St. Petersburg that represents this city's character better than the Snell Arcade at 4th and Central. Built in 1928 by developer Perry Snell, the building is a work of art.
He really put his heart and soul into this building. This was not just business for him. He was someone who enjoyed architecture. He was someone who enjoyed beauty and art, and it brings a sense of personality, it brings a sense of identity, it brings a sense of place to our community here in St. Pete.
As testimony to the building's unique character, the Snell Arcade was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1983. St. Petersburg once had 10 arcades, only 3 survive.
They were built in such a way that you could, you walk through them and they go from like one side of the block to the other. They were cool, they were covered, you were out of the sun, out of the rain if it was raining. It was not only a place to shop, but it was a place to meet your friends and chat and get to know each other better.
It's the quality of life that lives in buildings of a more human scale, buildings like the Snell Arcade or the open-air post office, that Will Michaels hopes will carry into the future. With its beautiful parks and architectural style, St. Petersburg has a feeling that is unique in all of Florida. In blending the new with the old, the challenge is to keep it that way. To Will Michaels, St. Pete's glorious past is more than an old Florida postcard. It's his city's heart and soul. Across the bay, a former Peace Corps volunteer is working to make life better in her community. If you don't think one person can make a difference, then you've never met Stephanie Buzansky. Since Stephanie went to work in her home office, writing grants and raising money,
hello?
2 playgrounds in Tampa have never been quite the same, with more playground projects on the drawing board.
You know, I'm thinking CVS Pharmacy has been a major supporter in the past, and they gave us 2, sizable grants for Freedom Playground and for Imagining Possibilities.
First inspired by her daughter, Sarah, who was diagnosed with cerebral palsy in 2001, Stephanie Buzansky saw a problem in need of a solution.
If you're in a wheelchair, this is pretty impossible to get across because you have sidewalk, railroad ties, some sand, and then the surface. So it's just a good example of, a barrier to play.
So with the same zeal that served her as a young Peace Corps volunteer, making life better in Ecuador, this wife, mother of 2, and private citizen set out on a mission closer to home. Stephanie's dream, a playground where kids of all abilities could play together. At first, she traveled the road alone, but financial donors, fellow citizens, and a city eventually shared her determination.
That dream has become a reality.
On February 2nd, 2008, Stephanie Buzansky joined Mayor Pam Iorio for the ribbon cutting of Freedom Playground at Tampa's McFarland Park. A dream 7 years in the making.
Keep going.
On a recent visit to the specially designed playground with her daughters Sarah and Claire, Stephanie couldn't be happier for all children.
When I come here, I just feel a lot of joy. I feel like, you know, it's the achievement of a dream, and it's something that I thought about for a long time and worked really hard on, and with a lot of people's help, and it makes me feel like we did something right. I think Sarah just feels free. She feels part of the community, part of the park. She feels welcome. For her, I think it's, you know, Freedom Playground. That's what it means, just free.
I was playing the drums and I was going down the line.
If you doubt Stephanie's role in Freedom Playground, City Planner Tom Johnston says she saw a need the city didn't see.
Stephanie, it's 98% Stephanie. With her vision and her getting the designer on board, it really got the project going and made it happen.
Stephanie also raised 1/2 of the $1 million needed to build what is now Tampa's most popular playground.
I think my time in the Peace Corps has helped me in a lot of ways in my life. I think just kind of not being afraid to approach people in a community and ask for support. You know, having an idea that you can make a difference, but also realizing that you can make a difference. A small difference is just as important as a big difference.
For 7-year-old Artisha Pride, a second project spearheaded by Buzansky's Freedom Playground Foundation has made all the difference in the world. At Imagining Possibilities Playground, Artisha is just another youngster at Grady Elementary having fun.
I like places around people. I like to play over there and there and there and there on the music things and all around it.
With its rubber flooring, wide ramps, and special equipment, this playground is the first of its kind at a Hillsborough County school. Assistant Principal Christine Dosel owes it all to Stephanie Buzansky.
She's a hero to all of us, and especially to the children. That you can see how much they enjoy the playground. It's fabulous. And you know, sometimes it takes one person to really make things happen. And she was the one that instigated it, and then the teachers, the faculty, the staff, the school district, all jumped on board, and we made it all happen together.
What I always wanted for Sarah and for other kids was I want other kids to get to know them as a kid, not this is the kid in the wheelchair, this is the kid with autism. It's just this is a child that likes to read like I do, or this is a child that likes to play on the swings like I do.
And just think, all of this, all that Stephanie Buzansky has accomplished, started with a single $5 donation.
The $5 donation Mary Watson gave her friend years ago for nothing more than an idea called Freedom Playground was the push Stephanie needed.
I didn't have but $5, and I gave it to her, and I told her, I said, you take this $5 and you go and start your dream. I'm tired of you sitting here talking about what you want to do. God said if you make one step, he'll make two, Stephanie. Get up, get busy, and she did. You know, she made a blessing not only for Sarah and Claire, she made a blessing for a whole world of children.
Stephanie's amazing accomplishment not only took perseverance, it also took vision. A unique vision, that's what artists have too. And what better place to express yourself than Florida? state of the arts.
Across Lemon Bay from Minnesota Key, Inglewood is off the beaten path. Here, the dark green frond of a saw palmetto, backlit in the morning light, wears a crown of sunshine. At the end of an Inglewood dirt road, this quiet place is the home and studio of a quiet man. Craig Rubidoux is an artist, and this bit of old Florida speaks to him.
Yeah, this is where I feel at home, I guess. Yeah, just a feeling of the wonder and the beauty of the world.
Rubidoux's connection to a Florida less encumbered by development dates back to the mid-1940s when he moved south with his family from upstate New York. Sarasota's population at the time was about 15,000 people.
So we got in this old 39 Chevy, and it had 7 flat tires on the way. And it was a good adventure for my brother and I.
In the Florida woods, the brilliantly colored scarlet and black seeds of the crab's eye helped continue the adventure.
My brother and I used to use them in our pea shooters. We used to cut lengths of bamboo, but nobody knew then that they're deadly poison.
But like many Floridians, Rubidoux in more recent years has become adept at reading other characteristics of the natural landscape, like the sighting of a surveyor's ribbon tied to a tree. What comes to mind?
Development and roads and houses and more stuff and less Florida. It's not much fun to see.
On a back-screen porch with Mother Nature just outside, this prolific artist goes to work in his simple studio. This work, in oil on paper, is part of a series of birds in flight.
I'm trying to get the feeling of motion and the speed and the agility of a hummingbird. They're amazing to watch.
When he was a kid, growing up in Sarasota, Rubidoux knew he wanted to be an artist.
I'm going to have to work on that bill. It's not quite right.
After the Ringling School of Art and an apprenticeship with famed American illustrator Ben Stahl, art has been his passion.
I seem to be driven to paint, and it's kind of an obsession. So it's hard to stop sometimes.
If being consumed with something you like to do can translate into contentment, maybe that's the secret to this artist looking much younger than his 72 years. Though his eclectic artwork can be found in collections all over the world, including the Guggenheim, Rubidoux's loyal following has been developed through regional commissions and sales at Florida galleries.
Yeah, it's nice to know what you do is appreciated, because it's a very solitary thing to do. You know, you're all by yourself, and so when you put an exhibition up, it's nice to get that appreciation back. But that's not why I do it. I do it because I have to do it.
With an eye for color and a love of animals, Craig Rubidoux's paintings of expressionism observe the world around him.
A Dog Running by Mount Fuji is the title. I like all these legs moving. Mount Fuji turns up in a lot of paintings. I stopped there on the way to Kyoto once, and it just made a lasting impression, I guess.
So has Tango the cat.
Did one recently called Tango Upset, which he is sort of with his ears back. And sometimes they're whimsical, like rhinoceros jumping through a hoop. Another one featuring the cat.
A flamenco dancer in Spain, an elephant in a boat, Small sketches and paintings are everywhere.
Raccoon. And some birds. This alligator's done in 85 or 86, I guess. I did a series of alligators. Just kind of whimsical.
After decades of living along the Braden River in Sarasota, but eventually crowded by too much development, artist Craig Rubidoux moved further south to Inglewood. Now surrounded by a bit of old Florida, Craig Rubidoux is home.
Listen to the birds and the wild things out in the mangroves. Yeah, it's amazing sounds and just feels right.
Florida is blessed with many talented artists, but the greatest artist of all is Mother Nature. To know her work is to know perfection. With Florida Stories, I'm Larry Elliston. See you next time on Florida Matters.
Major funding for Florida Matters comes from the Mosaic Company, a leading producer of fertilizer made from phosphate, a natural resource found in Florida. America's farmers depend on Florida phosphate for their crop nutrition needs. Mosaic, helping America grow.